Hi, I'm Michael Griswold. Imagine this. Your phone rings.
You look down and you see that it's your ex calling you. And instead of feeling nervous or anxious or unsure of what you're going to say, you feel confident. You feel poised. In fact, you know exactly how the call is going to go even before you answer the phone. And on the other end of the phone, your ex says this: "Hey, I really miss you, and I think it was a mistake for us to break up. Can we get together to talk about how to work things out?"
So tell me, how would that feel? How would it feel to hear those words from the person that you miss so much right now?
Well, if it would feel like somebody took a 2,000-pound weight off of your chest and got rid of that stabbing feeling in your stomach, then pay very close attention. Because in the next few moments, you're going to discover not only how to get your ex back, but how to make them want you. How to use a simple psychological trigger to get them to remind them of how much they love you, how much they miss you, and how much fun they had with you to begin with. To remind them of all the reasons that they were initially attracted to you. Listen, you know as well as I do that trying to convince your ex to get back together after a breakup is like trying to fall asleep. The harder you try, the worse it gets. And this is for two main reasons. One, trying to convince your ex to get back together puts you in a position of weakness and them in the position of power and is the lone decision maker. This puts a lot of pressure on you. And two, after a breakup, our emotions are so scattered, our hearts are so broken, and sometimes we're so paralyzed with fear, it's a wonder we can even retain our sanity, much less act in a way that's attractive. Our friends are no help because though they love us and they want to support us, they don't feel it like we do. They just don't get it. They tell us to move on or to go find someone else, but we don't want someone else. You want him or you want her. And so we stumble through trying harder and harder. And oftentimes we end up driving them farther and farther away. Maybe this is the case for you. Maybe your ex doesn't return your calls or your emails or texts anymore. Certainly you know of people who used to be madly in love and now can't stand to be within 50 feet of each other. How does that happen? The fact is, every relationship has challenges, conflicts, disagreements, normal relationship stuff. And sometimes people do break up because they're mad about some of those things.
But listen to this, because this is absolutely crucial.
Relationships may end because of disagreements and conflicts, but relationships die and never come back to life because of what happens after the breakup. It's what you do now, after the breakup, that determines whether you get another shot or whether your ex is gone forever.
And so since the thought of your ex being with someone else may drive you crazy, you look around for advice, someone who can help you restore this relationship with the person that you spent so much time investing in.
And all the advice that you find sounds the same. Hey, use no contact for a while, focus on yourself, and after a few weeks, call them up for coffee and blammo, wedding bells are ringing. Well, sorry, but that's just not the way it works. Relationships are never black and white. They're infinite shades of gray, and people, like relationships, are not one size fits all.
But here's the great news. You see, your ex doesn't need to be convinced, they don't need to be manipulated, they don't need to be hypnotized. In fact, they don't need to hear any magic words or even any perfectly crafted words.
They simply need to be reminded. Simply reminded of all the things they love about you. Simply reminded of all the things that made them attracted to you in the first place. And simply reminded of all the reasons, their own reasons, the things that they determined on their own, that you guys had a fun, great, satisfying relationship to begin with. Of course, you can't just call them up and say, "Hey, remember how great I am?" Because that's not going to work. But there are some hardwired psychological triggers that your ex has that can do it for you. All you have to do is know which triggers to use and when to use them.